Greetings and salutations, e-reader lovers. Today we have a comparison of the Kobo Aura versus the Kobo Aura H2O. And it's Michael and Peter here with a Good e-Reader. And Peter, what are we doing today?
We're going to be looking at an ebook, a PDF, and then the overall UI and the differences in the devices essentially. Because these are running the same OS, there are very subtle differences, and we're going to show you those today.
So the Kobo H2O doesn't come out until October 1st, and the Kobo Aura is available right now. As you can see, this is a 6-inch e-ink screen, and it's capacitive. So that means that the screen is flush with the bezel, and it also allows you to pinch and zoom content. This is more of a sunken display, and it actually uses Neonode's IR touch technology, so it does not allow multi-touch technology, and we'll show you what we mean when we start looking at PDF files. So we have the Hobbit and the Silkworm loaded here, and as you can see, page turns are pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that this is actually using Encarta, which is a fairly new technology. It's supposed to give you a little bit of higher resolution as well as faster page turns.
Long presses offer the exact same experience in almost every way. Highlight, search, and share. Well, highlight, note, search, and share. You have the dictionary that comes up. We'll look at the keyboards here just to make sure there's no differences in those. Pretty much identical. You get a little bit more screen real estate on this because this is a 6.8 inch and this is a 6, so it will be a little bit harder to type on this device, but not that bad because it just plays a little catch up, but it's not too bad at all. Page turns, yeah, they're pretty much the exact same. If you tap in the middle here, you will get the text augmentation, same with the H2O.
Yeah, so the one cool thing about Kobo e-readers is that they come with a lot of fonts, but they allow you to actually load in your own. So if you're a fan of Times New Roman, but it's not on here, you can load in your own font with the font directory.
They also give you advanced settings, so you can change things like this, change the font, and then it gives you a before and after what everything's going to look like, but we're not going to click apply because we like the way it looks right now.
This is useful for, you know, reading in the dark and the glow light is on. Maybe like the background text may not be as you know, as black maybe as you want it, so this gives you some customization options to just give you a better e-reading experience. You also have some statistics here,
and you'll see that on some books like The Hobbit here, you have beyond the book, shows a book and then kind of a little thing that goes beyond.
Yeah, so not all books have the beyond the book feature, which is weird because when it comes to X-ray on the Kindle, that's almost in every book that you purchase from Amazon, where it's only select books from Kobo that actually have it. It gives you just people, places, and things.
Bilbo, Thorin, dwarves,
yeah, I mean, Lord of the Rings, I mean, it's just so extensive. So many characters, so many settings.
Hard to keep track of it all.
This way you can kind of keep more abreast of, you know, who exactly is Thorin or Oakenshield, and go to the Wikipedia article written about him and stuff.
Or watch the movies.
Yeah. And boy, am I excited about the Battle of the Five Armies.
Le Hobbit. So you'll see here, by default, look what happens. It kind of puts this in the top quarter of the screen and puts this into the top left 40% of the screen. So you actually have to double tap again. This happens to all PDFs. So it's kind of a weird thing. It doesn't automatically fit to height or width. You have to make it do that.
And this is reading PDF files is where the capacitive screen on the Kobo Aura really shines.
So you grab your two fingers, if you've never pinched and zoomed, and then you can actually lift off a finger and continue zooming. And you have the little mini map there. Whereas the Kobo H2O has no such feature as of yet. You actually have to double tap to initiate a zoom distance, and then you can move it around. And every time you touch it, it just opens up the zoom distance again.
And then you could manually configure your zoom by...
Yeah, so they have a little bit of ways to go before they get any sort of better functionality with that, because it's just so easy on the Kobo. You can see that you can pinch and zoom. I mean, it's slower, but really no different than you doing on a cell phone.
Or a tablet.
Yeah, exactly.
So with PDFs, you go about configuring your optimal experience in different ways on both of these devices. I must say I'm a fan of the capacitive touchscreen display, but it was brought to my attention that if this gets wet or underwater, a capacitive screen, you can't really use that properly, which is why when you use your waterproof Sony one, it could go underwater, but you can't interact with the touch screen while it's underwater.
No, because pretty much the water is telling it you're pressing everything at once, whereas this has a mode, if you watch our underwater test, that once it's entirely submerged, you click OK, conforms itself to knowing that it's underwater, and it functions normally.
And that's because it's using IR technology.
Exactly.
So it's recognizing you touching the device as opposed to like your thing.
Exactly. There you go.
Exactly.
You triggered it.
Exactly.
You meant to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so that's the ebook reading and PDF experience. This is the home screen on both of these devices, fairly similar. It gives you an indication on books that you've loaded in recently, as well as you can see I opened up the web browser. I've created a new collection.
This changes as you do different things.
Yeah, it's dynamic, which is why I like it. It's almost like Windows in that respect, where the most recent things that you did kind of pop up.
Right.
In settings, there are a few differences. If you go to reading settings here, you see that you do get some options here that's not in...
Track reading activities, show page numbers, and then this one obviously gives you the show water droplets and all that.
Right. And using an eEncarta screen, we can actually configure the refresh rate. It only goes to 6 pages.
Yeah, we have a different setup here. We have 1, 5, 10, or chapter. And this is because with this technology... as you swipe pages, it kind of grays out with little tiny dots, and that simulates the full page refresh, whereas this actually needs a full page refresh.
Right.
So just subtle differences in the menus, of course, about Aura H2O and Aura. Needs to say that, of course, because they are different devices. Other than that, they're pretty similar in operating system and overall UI.
Yeah, when you hit the library, these are the options here. It's fully compatible with Pocket, Collections, Books. You hit the bookstore tag. You could see that it's fairly similar as well.
Same things. And then under extras, just to show you guys what you're dealing with both of these side by side, they are very similar in most of the aspects.
Okay, dictionaries is something that people ask us about a lot. You can see that we could do a lot of translation, but you could also download dictionaries as well in the settings menu. That there's a dictionary area where you could download like a Japanese dictionary or whatever. So if you do speak another language natively, you can get all of your UI and everything like that in a different language, as well as the dictionary as well.
Exactly.
So the store pretty well consistent on both devices. So Kobo's not rewriting the book, as it were, or the ebook.
Yeah. So you click on a book, and it's pretty much the exact same thing because you're accessing the same store, just 2 different devices.
Right. So you could see that a lot of the firmware that was refined on the Kobo Aura has come over to the H2O. So if you're upgrading to the H2O from a modern Kobo e-reader like the Kobo Aura, the Kobo Aura HD, you're not going to have to learn a completely new interface. There's a ton of new features. It's pretty well a larger screen.
Hardware.
It's waterproof.
Right.
And if that matters to you, then you maybe want to get the Kobo Aura H2O.
Exactly.
So this has been a small comparison of the Kobo Aura and the Kobo Aura H2O. Any questions, concerns, drop a comment below. For GoodEreader.com, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care. What is in there?
We have a SD card micro up to 32 gigabytes. We have status indicator light. This extra hole is for the latch, like so. And we have the micro USB port, which is utilized for charging the device and transferring data to and from the device to your computer. So we tap the power button to wake it up. And this is the home screen, Mike. Tell us what we're looking at.
Okay, the resolution is 1440 by 1080, so you're getting tremendous screen clarity and resolution. It also has a front lit display, and you can get this